This week at Carolina, Chancellor James Measer gives his second State of the University address. His ideas for making Carolina the leading public university in the nation.
Matters in Afghanistan are far from settled, and now President Bush is talking about a new war. Carolina professors give us their thoughts about Iraq.
And students drinking and driving right here on campus. We'll show you why.
Carolina Week starts now.
From the School of Journalism and Mass Communication at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, this is Carolina Week.
Indeed, our biggest challenge today is not to become so totally absorbed in our immediate problems that we lose sight of our long-term vision.
And that was Chancellor James Measer from the second State of the University address this afternoon. Good evening. I'm Alex Lawson.
And I'm Jenny McClendon. Thanks for joining us for the first show of the fall semester.
Our top story tonight, Chancellor Measer tackles the budget and the Quran. Carolina Week's Michael Handy joins us in the studio with more about the Chancellor's address.
The Chancellor focused much of his speech on the long-term goals of the university. He briefly touched on the state budget crisis, but more importantly, he emphasized the steps Carolina needs to take to become the leading public university. He says Carolina must continue to stand strong against outside criticism.
I'm proud of Carolina for the courage to choose a book, the purpose of which was helping our students understand the complex and often contradictory forces that shape our world.
Measer also praised the university's fundraising efforts during the past year. In spite of the tough economic times, the Carolina First campaign has raised more than $840 million. Measer says that campaign, coupled with great leadership, has helped make Carolina top-notch.
The university acquired a level of independence and quality that kept it in the front rank of public and private schools in the region.
And on October 11th, Measer will publicly announce that the Carolina First campaign has reached its goal. And as I said, Alex, most of the speech was focused on the long-term goals of the university.
All right, thanks for that report, Michael. Appreciate it.
Despite all the controversy surrounding the university's most recent summer reading selection, it appears the legislature will not pull funding for the program. The book, Approaching the Quran, brought out many critics because of its religious nature. Among the critics, several members of the State House, who last month proposed to pull funding from the program unless other religions were represented. This week, the amendment's chief proponent, Representative Gene Arnold, says it's not likely to make it into the final budget. He added the amendment was primarily a symbolic gesture intended for Chancellor Measer.
Workers still have a lot to do on some buildings around campus, but other landmarks are ready for students. Inside the undergraduate library, students will find new computers and new furniture for studying, but some buildings will remain closed for a while. Here's a list of some ongoing construction projects. Murphy Hall is scheduled to open this October, and the plan is to have the second floor in Haynes Hall open by January 2003. Alexander, Connor, and Winston residence halls are slated to open in December of next year. And crews have started to work on the science complex, but that won't be finished until at least 2005.
America may be at war soon, and it could be a very familiar foe. Carolina Week's Sudhir Kumar reports.
The Bush administration says it's time to oust Saddam Hussein as a dictator. They say he's a major threat to the U.S. because he continues to build up nuclear, chemical, and biological weapons. However, the U.S. lacks worldwide support to attack because there's no direct evidence to back up these allegations. UNC Chapel Hill professor Catherine Lutz says there are other ways to resolve the conflict.
That's a question for the UN to settle, to get those UN inspectors in there and get them, again, hopefully eliminating chemical and biological weapons from the planet.
But some disagree.
I'm confident from the people I've talked to in Special Forces that have been involved that he was carrying on at 80 to 90% of his research capacity.
Most sides agree that a regime change is important, but also agreed that the task will be exponentially harder than in Afghanistan. Sources say 250,000 troops may be sent in if tensions escalate to war. Many of these will be college seniors who just graduated and need to pay off loans. A large military operation might cost upward of $100 billion of taxpayers' money, and the U.S. will need to prove the threat is real before getting support from allies. Peace, War, and Defense Chair Richard Cohn supports decisive action.
Try to get allies, perhaps work through the UN, and try first, in my judgment, the most draconian inspection regime it can possibly conceive of.
But it appears that many Arab countries are dead set against U.S. action in Iraq. As our government tries to maintain a united front against terrorism, American leaders will have to keep that in mind. In Chapel Hill, I'm Sudhir Kumar, Carolina Week.
In this week's Speak Out segment, we asked students, should the United States go to war against Iraq?
I don't support war with Iraq, mainly because it's not supported by the international community. It would be a unilateral action.
I think we should go to war with Iraq right now, just because I think they have nuclear threats and capabilities that could be detrimental to the United States and other allied nations against them. And
I don't think the U.S. should go to war with Iraq, because in a lot of these situations, a lot of innocent bystanders are killed, people who are forced to join the army and don't necessarily believe in what their dictator or their leader is saying.
I think that it is an unnecessary step to be taken, and that a lot more harm will come of it than good.
Our sample isn't scientific and shouldn't be taken as a reflection of widespread opinion on campus.
After a good soaking last week, we're finally dry and seeing some Carolina blue skies again.
Jason, is this beautiful weather going to stick around?
Well, finally we've had some warm temperatures. I'll tell you all about what to expect for the weekend, and we'll take a look at the tropical storms and the drought. Stay tuned to Carolina Week.
With all the students back in town, the drought's hitting home at Carolina.
We'll show you how the university is helping to ease the water crisis after the break.
Awaken your creativity. Do your thing at the Art School at the Art Center in Carborough.
To a child, a little of your time can make a lifetime of difference. That's why the Greenville Family Partnership sponsored a hike, because kids with something to do are less likely to do drugs.
Standing right in front of them.
Whether you're a good storyteller or a good listener, you can help. To find out about community drug prevention programs, call toll-free 1-877-KIDS-313.
I can keep a kid off drugs.
Fall classes are already underway, but when it's time to register for spring, students interested in gender studies will have some new options. Student Glenn Grossman, being gay at Carolina hasn't been easy.
I've been verbally harassed practically every semester I've been here, and I have been physically harassed on this campus, and that's just not acceptable, neither for myself nor anyone else.
That's why Grossman got involved in Provost Robert Shelton's Campus Climate Committee, a group formed to improve the treatment of sexual minorities at UNC Chapel Hill. The group's most recent proposal, adding a minor in sexuality to Carolina's curriculum. English professor Erin Carlston serves as the chairwoman of the academic subcommittee of the task force. She says the minor, drawing from courses in many departments, would improve campus attitudes toward studies of sexual orientation.
That is a reaction we get sometimes, like, sex? How is that a field of study? We don't want people studying sex.
But Carlston says examining sexuality from a variety of disciplines can enrich students' education as a whole.
We're recognizing that the whole area of sort of human sexual behaviors and how those are conceived in a cultural context is a large and important part of human life that pertains to many other areas of human life.
Areas of life that Grossman says Carolina students need to know about.
In order to consider ourselves educated members of society, we have to have informed opinions, and we really have to critically examine these issues. And this will give us the opportunities and the resources to do this.
And the opportunity to make Carolina a more comfortable place for all students. To fulfill the minor, Carlston says students will need 5 courses that can come from various departments, including English, history, and biology.
To the disappointment of many seniors, the Carolina Duke men's basketball game is scheduled 2 days after the start of spring break, but a few dorms will remain open for the March 9th game. The housing department will have to work with other services on campus, such as dining, to make sure students are taken care of.
UNC Chapel Hill students should have no excuses for not voting in this year's primary election. The Orange County Board of Elections set up a one-stop voting spot on campus in the Moorhead Planetarium building. The voting center allows registered voters to cast their votes from now until September 7th. North Carolina State Senator Howard Lee says students should vote to make sure the right people get elected. Voters still have 3 days to use the voting center. It's open from 9 a.m. until 4 p.m. this Thursday and Friday, and 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. this Saturday.
Water is one of the most abundant resources on Earth, covering 3/4 of the globe. But in Chapel Hill, it could become a rare commodity. So what is the university doing to help? Carolina Week's Ashley Kendrick reports.
We use a lot of water. About 10 to 13 million gallons a day in our area alone. So when Mother Nature dropped a little rain last week, it was relief for Gary Feller, Public Administrator at Orange Water and Sewer Authority.
We definitely made some gain, but the issue is not getting through the next few days or few weeks. The issue is where will we be in several months from now.
The discolored rocks and overgrown shoreline at University Lake are proof of that concern. OWASA reports 127 days of water remain for our area, and as we approach the driest months of the year, it's critical, as you can see, that we all do our part, including the university.
The university is encouraging conservation by using disposable dishes and so forth, and also by encouraging short showers, and that anyone who sees a leak in one of the university plumbing fixtures or such as a faucet should report that so it can be fixed.
The university has also implemented a water schedule. Various parts of campus are watered only 1 day a week. Some say it still isn't enough.
Using styrofoam isn't any better of an environmentally safe decision. So, I mean, I think they're on the right track, but I mean, they aren't stopping anything in the dorms. It's only in the dining halls.
Until they really take a look at the other kind of opportunities that are out there to prevent this happening in the future and to help the drought that we currently have, then, you know, I'm not completely satisfied with the university's attempts.
Of the total water use in Chapel Hill each year, so it's important for all students and faculty to conserve where they can. In Chapel Hill, I'm Ashley Kendrick, Carolina Week.
I'll tell you what, Jason, we had some rain last week. It sure was helpful, but it'd be nice to have a little more. And I hear there's a tropical storm that's out there.
That's right. There is a tropical storm, but it doesn't look like that's going to be bringing us any rain, and we really need the rain towards the west. But talking about tropical storms, that brings us to our weather question, which is, a tropical storm becomes or is considered a hurricane when winds are greater than 54, 74, 94, or 124 miles per hour. We'll take a look at this week's forecast and get an answer to that weather question after the break.
To whom it may concern, I'm hurting. All I done heard is blood-curdling curses. Mama pops are berserking again while I'm burning up in the furnace and searching for the explanation for what I did to deserve to get deserted and then repeatedly beaten in the face with my worthlessness. No sense of purpose. It got drowned, and I doubt if you were to open my mind and step inside it right now, you could even feel what I'm talking about. Cause for the pain in my veins, the words can't explain, and the hate is mounting, and I can't contain it. I'm bound to break out in the days I'm counting, and I'm sick of the shouting, man. I'm about to just.
Animal cruelty, human violence. Break the connection.
Hey, there are a lot of ways we can help our community. Spending our money in Orange County, whether it's filling up the car or shopping at local businesses, helps maintain our roads, improves our children's schools, and creates jobs. Spending your money locally helps us all in a big way. So remember, shop Orange first.
Hi, and welcome back to Carolina Week. We've had a great week. Sunny conditions and warm temperatures are back. Compared to last week, we had some rain and we badly needed it. We've had drought conditions though, and we could use some more rain, but for now in the forecast, that doesn't look like we'll be having any. You can see the students are getting out and enjoying the sunshine because it's been plentiful this week. Looking at our drought conditions across the state, it's pretty bad towards the west, and that's where we need it, so the water can come down basically from the mountains towards our area. At Asheville, 32 inches so far. This is for the year, the past year, and they're below about 20 inches, so they need plenty of rain there. Charlotte's looking at 27 so far, and they're about 16 inches below normal. If we look at some other cities towards Raleigh-Durham area, 30 inches so far, yet they're about a foot below normal. And towards Wilmington, where there's a lot of rain because you're close to the ocean, they usually get about 35 inches of rain, and they have minus 21, but usually towards the beach they'll be getting plenty of rain. But we're hoping we can have some rain this winter. That's when we really need the rain, and a good soaking rain consistently. If we look at our satellite right now, we can see some cloud covers down towards the south, but not a lot happening with us right now. We have a high pressure system over us, and that's producing those nice temperatures that we've had and the sunny conditions. Edouard is right here in Florida, and he's going to probably be moving across the next 2 days across Florida. He has about 40-mile-per-hour winds right now, and he's moving about 5 miles per hour, so he's not moving too fast, but he is moving out that way. And we can't see Dolly, but Dolly is off in the Atlantic too, and that doesn't look like that's going to be a problem. So we will not get any rain from these tropical storms, but we could see some maybe in the next week. If we look at our surface map, we can see our cold front will be moving through. That could produce maybe an afternoon thunderstorm here and there, but that will be scattered. It will not be anything significant, and we'll have a stationary front right below us with that. But our low system, mainly that's just going to affect Florida and maybe some of the coast towards Georgia area. But all across, we're looking at warm temperatures this weekend in the mid-80s, sunny conditions for Friday and Saturday in the lower 80s, 83 on Friday, 84 on Saturday, 86 on Sunday and Monday. So to start off your week, next week we'll be seeing nice temperatures. If we go to the beach, we can see those same conditions, mid-80s. We could see some clouds pop up though, and some thunderstorms maybe will be coming through, but overall, it'll be very nice down towards the beach. If you're going to be going towards the mountains, you'll see we'll have 80-degree temperatures, so they'll be really nice all across the state, and we'll have lows around 60 degrees, but mainly all across the state, it's going to be very nice. So, you know, get out there and enjoy it this weekend. But does anybody have an answer to our weather question about the tropical storm?
I might try C.
Well, I'll just do what I did on the SAT and just go C on every question. So.
C. Actually, it's B. 74 miles per hour. Good try there. Good try. But it's 74 miles per hour. That's when a tropical storm is considered a hurricane. So right now we're not looking at any threat with having any hurricanes.
That's also a good thing.
Well, we have needed that rain, but one good thing I have heard about the drought is that the dry conditions make for great fall colors.
That's
once
exactly right.
the
We're
leaves
going to
change.
see a lot of bright colors this fall, so that would be a positive side to the drought.
Okay. So pretty fall, maybe not a pretty football season, Steve?
Yeah, fall always equals football. Unfortunately, football team did real well on Saturday. 9 turnovers, that's good. But as we go to break, the football team got off to a rough start on Saturday. We'll show you how the team fumbled an opportunity when Carolina Week Sports returns.
Can you afford to own a home in Orange County?
It's all right. We're at
If you thought you couldn't afford to own a home in Orange County, now you can. Contact the Orange Community Housing and Land Trust
So what are
for
we
more
light now or heavy?
information.
What's the deal, Dave? Are we light? Are we light or heavy? Like
Tarzan, Lord of the Jungle, King of the Apes, father of boy. He knows what it takes to be a dad. You go for a ride, you take a swim, you hang out. All it takes is time. Hey, it doesn't take a hero, but it takes a man to be a dad.
And welcome back to Carolina Week Sports. With games against Syracuse and Texas looming in the not-so-distant future, it might be easy for a team to look past Miami of Ohio. On Saturday, the Hills might have made that mistake. Ben Smith tells us how it all went down.
When Carolina opened up with Miami of Ohio on Saturday, the Heels may have been expecting a swinging good time, but it was the Redhawks who were having all the fun. Seems all the Tar Heels had were, well, turnovers.
Turnovers just killed us.
It usually doesn't help your cause when you turn the ball over 9 times. It's enough to make you hold your head in disgust. Turning the ball over that much can be as frustrating as getting hit in the face.
It was very frustrating, just knowing that you have to go back out and play in the red zone, play from 30 yards, 40 yards. I mean, we wanted better field position, basically.
Well, it's discouraging. I mean, who wouldn't be a little discouraged? We're all humans, aren't we? I mean, that's the neat part about this game is those little personal challenges. And in this case, a lot of big challenges.
The Heels did their best to step up to Miami's challenge in the second half. Backup QB C.J. Stevens hit Sam Aiken across the middle for a score, and the Heels trailed by 6 with 39 seconds to go. And then Michael Waddell recovered an onside kick to give the Heels one last chance. As time expired, Stevens rolled out, looked downfield, and threw it up for grabs, but nobody grabbed it. And the Heels start this season the way they did last year, with a loss and a quarterback controversy. In Chapel Hill, I'm Benton Smith, Carolina Week Sports.
Now, earlier this week, Bunning named Darian Durant the starter against Syracuse, but he did say C.J. Stevens should get more playing time. Now, on the other hand, the UNC volleyball team season is off to a smashing start. Last weekend, the Tar Heels hosted the Carolina Nike Classic. In their first match of the weekend, the girls in blue defeat the Aggies of New Mexico State 3-0. Senior outside hitter Laura Green leads the attack with 16 kills and 10 digs. That would be saves for the layman. Saturday morning, UNC breezes past St. John's for the 3-zip victory. Sophomore Molly Pyle serves up a double-double in the match, notching 13 kills and 14 digs. In the finals, the Carolina team goes neck and neck with 10th-ranked Wisconsin. UNC wins games 1 and 2, but after they gain a 28-21 edge in the third game, Wisconsin battles back to win 38-36. Hills win game 4, 30-23, and upset Wisconsin 3-1. Senior Malika Underwood says the team's success is even sweeter because of the upset to the Badgers.
It gives us a lot of confidence. I mean, to beat the number 10 seed, there's not much more confidence you can get. You know, that's why we scheduled this game, and that's why we played Wisconsin, and, you know, nothing can stop us now.
Another Carolina women's team is looking for success this year. Our Drew Matthews tells us how the women's soccer team measures up this season.
As the Carolina women's soccer team prepares for the season, the Heels find themselves in a familiar position, ranked number 1. Yet one thing is different headed into 2002. Although the team has dominated women's soccer and won 17 national titles, Carolina is not the defending national champion this year. The Heels reached the title game last season, but lost to Santa Clara. The team has used that loss as motivation to come out strong this year. Preseason All-American Catherine Reddick says she's ready to try to guide the team to success.
Being a junior and being an All-American, you definitely want to lift your team to a higher level of play and lift the defenders. And once you get the defenders, and you can get the rest of the team going.
She won't have to do it alone. 2001 ACC Tournament MVP Alyssa Ramsey and 4-year starting goalkeeper Jenny Branham will make Reddick's job easier. Winning national championships is something the Carolina women's soccer team has become accustomed to. But with the loss of the title game and 7 seniors last season, the question this year is, will they be able to claim their 18th national crown? The Heels have the tools to make another run this year. Senior forward Susan Bush should provide plenty of offense, and senior Leslie Gaston was one of the best outside defenders in the country last year. The Heels also have a lot of young talent like sophomore Ann Morrell, who scored 8 goals as a freshman. Coach Anson Dorrance doesn't promise a national championship, but he does like his team.
We're going to have a nice soccer team.
and we're going to give anyone a run. And we've got a lot of nice weapons and a lot of very attractive, talented, creative players. And I think that's what we're accustomed to around here, and I'm glad that hasn't changed.
The one thing the team does want to change is the label from runner-up to national champion. In Chapel Hill, I'm Drew Matthews, Carolina Week Sports.
Now the season has already started, and the team is 1-0-1 after this weekend's Adidas Invite. Carolina tied Nebraska in the first game 1-1, and in the second game against Southern California, 2 Hills scored in the first 5 minutes of the game, and the team held on for a 2-0 victory. The Hills will host the Carolina Nike Classic this weekend at Fetzer Field.
Let's hope for a good win on Saturday against Syracuse. We'll see how it goes.
We will.
All right, thanks a lot, Steve. Well, these Carolina students might look like they're driving drunk, but they're not doing anything illegal.
Find out why they're having trouble behind the wheel when Carolina Week returns.
Take off! 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, blast off! Wow! Whoa, look at that! Is that Jupiter?
Hey kids, it's time to go to the planetarium!
Moorhead Planetarium, where dreams become reality.
If you have a story idea, contact Carolina Week at 843-8292. You can also visit us online at carolinaweek.org. If you have questions about this program, write Carolina Week at Campus Box 3365, UNCCH, Chapel Hill, North Carolina, 27599.
An alcohol awareness program on campus opens students' eyes to the dangers of drunk driving.
Carolina Week's Jay Biggio gets behind the wheel.
Many UNC Chapel Hill students are now seeing more clearly, thanks to a pair of goggles that make it hard to see it all. As a part of an alcohol awareness program this past Friday, students wore vision impairment goggles while driving a golf cart. The program simulates the effects of drinking and driving. The Department of Public Safety and Student Government's Safe Ride program sponsored the event. Senior Matt Eagle says the experience opened his eyes to the scary reality of drinking and driving.
It gives you a different perspective because it's something different to think about, oh, well, I wouldn't drive, I could do it. But when you actually put the goggles on and you see what it really is, it gives you a whole new respect for it.
Before students get behind the wheel of the golf cart, they can actually choose their level of intoxication. I decided to wear the .08 goggles, which is the legal limit. Let's see how I do.
Not too bad, considering I couldn't even find the pedal when I first put the goggles on.
You did pretty good.
But not everyone did so well.
Wipe out!
Crime Prevention Officer Angela Carmen says the best way to travel safe when drinking is to give someone else the car keys.
I'm a strong proponent of having, if you've got a group that's going to be going out partying, at least have one person who's a designated driver.
And having a designated driver could save your car from looking like this. In Chapel Hill, I'm Jade Biggio, Carolina Week.
The Department of Public Safety will run the event again September 12th at Granville Towers.
Well, thanks. That does it for this edition of Carolina Week.
Thanks for joining us. Be sure to watch next week when we bring you special university coverage of September 11th.
Following our regular newscast, we'll have a special show we've been working on entitled September 11th, Carolina Remembers. It'll show you how the university has dealt with the terrorist attacks and how we've changed as a Carolina family.
Until then, have a good night and a good week.